Do you know the true story of Beauty and the Beast? The earliest telling of the story that I can find is Gabriel Suzanne de Villeneuve's La Belle et la Bête, which translates to, as you can probably guess, Beauty and the Beast. A merchant picks a rose from the garden of a castle, and his daughter, Beauty, agrees to live there in his place. Beauty is visited by a mysterious woman in her dreams who tells her to look past appearances, and she also dreams of a handsome prince. Eventually, the Beast allows Beauty to return home to visit her father, but while at home, she dreams of the same woman who tells her to return to the castle because the Beast is dying. She returns to the castle to find the Beast, apparently dead. She revives him and agrees to marry him, and then he turns into the prince she dreamt about. We find out that Beauty is the daughter of a king and a fairy, and is actually the Beast's cousin. As a baby, she was swapped with the dead daughter of the merchant to protect her from an evil fairy who wanted to marry the king. And the woman in Belle's dreams, another fairy. And the Beast, after his father died and his mother drove the kingdom into war, he was left in the care of another wicked fairy. When he was older, the fairy tried to seduce him, he refused, and so she turned him into a beast. Following so far? Because we're not done. This story was based off the true story of Pedro Gonzalez. In 1547, Henry II became King of France, and at his coronation he was gifted a 10-year-old boy with what we now know is congenital hypertrichosis, which basically means he was covered in a layer of soft hair. King Henry decided to conduct an experiment to see if he could civilize this wild man, and so renamed him Petrus Gonsalvus, a Latin name. True to his word, the king respected, protected, and educated Pedro, and he eventually held a very prestigious position in the king's court. However, when Pedro was in his early 20s, King Henry died, leaving his wife, Catherine de Medici, in power. She decided to conduct her own experiment on him, and wanted him to be wed and have children, in the hope that they too would carry his condition, so that she could exploit them as spectacles. So she eventually settled on a young woman, also named Catherine, who was supposedly chosen because the queen wanted to see what would happen if someone with her beauty married someone with Pedro's beast-like appearance. Catherine did not know of Pedro's appearance until their wedding day, but agreed to marry him, and they went on to have 7 children, 4 of whom inherited their father's condition. So next time you sit down to watch the film, think to yourself,